Are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Please be patient with me. Okay, please be patient with me. As you guys know, I just recently got out of the hospital with coronavirus, so I want to speak on that. So if I have to kind of catch my breath a little bit, that those are one of the after effects or side effects of coronavirus is shortness of breath. So, but that is getting, trust me, it's completely better now than where I was last Friday. So I am improving. I'm getting better. Certain things that I couldn't do just a day or two nights ago, I'm doing now. So let's get some more people in the chat room and we'll chop it up. First of all, I want to take the time out to rest in peace to Amin Ra. You know, I got word of Amin Ra passing away, and guys, I wanted to do a show, but I was out of it. Like the corona had me completely had me, so I couldn't even. I was to the point. I was so weak. I couldn't even do a show just to show my condolences to Amin Ra. That's how that's how it was. That's how this thing is really how it really affected me. So rest in peace to Amin Ra. I hate what happened to the brother. I'm not fully sure what happened. All I've gotten was that he had liver issues. I don't think Amin Ra was a big drinker, so I don't know. So people who have more information, just let me know. But from my understanding, he had um, he had liver issues. Again, guys, if I have to catch my breath, just be patient with me. All right, so where do I want to get started in regards to this coronavirus? So let me do this. Let me pull my schedule out so I can give you guys some dates. Uh, all right, so let me go back. Okay, so we'll do this. March 13th. Yeah, we'll say March 13th. Okay. Um, March 13th, and we'll say March 12th, March 13th. Um, this was when the whole coronavirus lockdown was supposed to take place. So I went out, started loading up on foods. So I remember I went to the Family Dollar here in the West End on Rob David Abernathy, and I went to Kroger. I think that following day on the 13th. Now, me personally, I think when I went on the 13th to the family to Kroger on Ralph David Abernathy, I think that's where I contracted the coronavirus. Why do you say that, Dinas? It was hella people in the store. Like damn near no one had on masks. I didn't have on masks myself. The lines were long, and I remember. In fact, I take that back. I went that the 12th, that Thursday. I went to the Kroger, and also I went again that 13th. I mean, there was yeah, Phil. I lost a ton of weight. I lost a ton of weight. I got to get my weight back up, guys. So yeah, I probably lost about 15 pounds, probably more than that. Yeah, but I lost a ton of weight. So I remember going in both those days. Number one, like there was nothing to wipe down the grocery carts. No one had any type of mask on, and it was just a lot of bodies in there. So um, I remember the night of the 12th, which was that Thursday, I believe, me feeling kind of ill. Me personally, I thought it was nothing more than my allergies acting up. Like every time around this year, my allergies start acting up. Yeah, so I was thinking it was my allergies. So I was like, okay, it's just my allergies. Me personally, I think I got it around all those people in the Kroger on the 12th to the 13th. That's how I think I contracted it. That's me personally. I don't know. I don't have facts. I don't have proof. But I think that's how I came down with it. So I thought I had allergies. So I was like, okay, no big deal. It's just the allergies. That following Monday, shout out, thank you, Holism. That Monday, like that night, or really that night, I believe, or that whole day, I started having these muscle pains, like these uncontrollable muscle pains. And I'm saying like my muscles, like my legs are just, I'm in so much pain. I'm like, damn, my allergies have never done this before, but just this must be the new allergies. So I'm thinking my muscles are just acting up. Like my muscles just started. I was in so much pain. Like they were like cramping up, like all over my body. So I start to feel a little bit better that Tuesday. I want to say I went to the gym. That Wednesday, I think I go back to the gym. I do a little lift. So I'm thinking I'm kind of recovering. That Thursday, I'm thinking I'm recovering. Like I said, I'm thinking it was just my allergies. But during this whole time too, I had a cough that I could not control. Like my cough was out of control. But again, I'm thinking it's just allergies. So I'm thinking, okay, it's just allergies. So I'm coughing like crazy. Like little things like me just trying to fix something to eat. I could barely fix myself something to eat. Like I'm just in the kitchen, leaning over the kitchen counter, like I'm just dead. I'm tired. So I'm having the muscle issues. I can barely breathe. I'm just fatigued. But again, I'm thinking it's just allergies. So then Friday before last, which would have been the 20th, like I could barely walk up and down the stairs. Like I'm getting no air. I have shortness of breath. I lay down, my muscles start acting up again. I'm like, okay, something's wrong. It was to the point where like I couldn't even, this is a little graphic, I could barely wipe my ass. That's how much pain I was in. So I end up, my butt, I'm sorry. So I end up laying down and I call my frat brother who's a doctor. I'm like, look, man, something's not right. I'm like, something's not right, man. He said, call the ambulance. So the ambulance, they come and get me. Like they gotta hold me up just to get me to the ambulance. So they take me to Grady. So I'm in Grady. They're running all types of tests on me. I had a 102-degree temperature and I had pneumonia. Which for a guy in shape like myself, like why do I have pneumonia? So the doctors come and they say, look, Dinas, we believe you have coronavirus. Now, if you stay the night, now we will only test you if you stay the night. I said, you know what? I hate hospitals. I'm going home. So like a dummy, I went home. I thought I was feeling a little bit better. So I go home. They give me some antibiotics for my pneumonia, Tylenol for my fever. So I ended up going home. That Saturday, I started feeling a little bit better. So that Saturday, I ended up going to Kroger to get my prescription. My family's like, Donnie, you still need to go to the hospital and get tested to see if you have coronavirus. So I said, okay. So I ended up going to Emory, Midtown. So I go, they run all types of tests on me. They run a coronavirus test on me. They send me home. So I go home. Monday comes around, like I'm feeling my fever's back up. I can barely walk. I'm just in bed. Tuesday comes around, is getting worse. So I end up calling the ambulance again. So they come pick me up. They take me back to Emory. Oh yeah, and then I found out that Monday that I had coronavirus. I tested positive for coronavirus. My results came back. So I took the test Saturday. That Monday, my results came back. I'm gonna get into that too, because this thing is very real. Because for me, a healthy guy like myself, for what I endured, like if you have a pre-existing condition, I, like if you're diabetic, on dialysis, if you have high blood pressure, anything like that, I don't know, because it's just what I went through, and I'm healthy. I can only imagine those who have pre-existing conditions and are getting this. They gave me antibiotics. Okay. So, Jacqueline, stop right there. So, this is the issue I have with, this natural, homeopathic, I don't know what the term is, natural medicine. Everybody's a herbalist now online. Everybody's a herbalist now online. And you herbalists are going to make people even worse. Guys, seek medical treatment, okay? Because I have not seen one herbalist heal somebody with coronavirus. I'm just being honest. Everybody has their own, everybody's a herbalist. No, the antibiotics are just there to help me feel more comfortable, which they did. They made me feel more comfortable. Yeah, everybody's a specialist, so they get sick. Everybody's a conspiracy theorist until their family member gets killed. Everybody's a special herbalist, conspiracy theorist until their family gets killed. Somebody in their family gets killed. Not saying none of that stuff works. I think you should definitely use it as a supplement. Absolutely. Does it keep you healthy? Absolutely. But again, everybody's a specialist, herbalist, conspiracy theorist. But I have not seen one herbalist go into a hospital and heal somebody. Yes, take your herbs. Absolutely. But it's just too many silly Negroes who have access to the internet these days. And I'm telling you, man, keep listening to these herbalists and see what happens. But anyway, so I'm in a hospital. Well, guys, I didn't have an appetite. Like I couldn't eat. Like I couldn't eat at all. I couldn't eat. So I wasn't on here. Well, just I lost weight because I'm just getting my appetite back. Yesterday, I just started getting my appetite back. So yes, I lost a lot of weight. Damn, if only all those people who had Ebola, if they just had access to the herbs, and if they only had access to the herbs, the special herb, everybody has a special herb. Damn, so you're trying to tell me that sea moss would have cured Ebola? Damn. Sorry, everybody. If you only had access to sea moss when you had Ebola. Damn. So spread the word to all those who caught Ebola. Next time, eat your sea moss. Again, all that's important as supplements, but just people just think, they read a rest in peace, Dr. Africa, or they read one Dr. Sebi book, and now they're herbalists, they're specialists. But anyways, so I was in the hospital a couple nights. No, I'm good, Fabian. I'm good. I'm just tired of the conspiracy theories. I'm just tired of them. I just wonder where these herbalists were if they were at actual ground zero when shit was popping off. That's all I'm saying. Now, if you were a herbalist and you were actually ground zero, Sierra Leone and Liberia, and you could prove to me that your special sea moss cured Ebola, then I'll shut up. I'll sit back. I'll apologize. I'll shut up. But again, everybody's a herbalist and specialist online. You know, because all these herbalists on here online, when the shit broke out in Sierra Leone and Liberia, I guarantee you were nowhere to be found. That's what I'm saying. The herbalist is never there on ground zero. Herbalists cannot be found at ground zero. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I apologize. I'm sorry. But for some reason, these online herbalists at like ground zero, when when it's popping off, nowhere to be found with their herbs. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All these herbalists and specialists are nowhere to be found at ground zero. That's all I'm saying. If you are a herbalist or a special, whatever you want to call yourself, Ebola, whatever, SARS, whatever, like where were you ground zero with your CBOS? That's all I'm saying. If you can show me ground zero on the front lines with your herbs, killing people, I'll shut up and I'll apologize. So I was in the hospital. I was hooked up to they had the little nose breathing thing. So it's in the hospital a couple of days. Recovered, came home Friday night. And I've been slowly getting better. Slowly getting better. Yeah, nasal cannula. That's what they had me hooked up to. So came home Friday night. Man, I just been recovering. So I've been feeling a whole lot better. I got to get my weight up. Have to get my weight up. So had to definitely get my weight up. They did shut my gym down. That's how everything happened. So I mean, as far as how to beat coronavirus, you just got to be patient and just make sure you're treating the symptoms. So my symptoms were pneumonia, had a high temperature and shortness of breath. So just the symptoms that come with it, you just got to make sure you treat them. That's the big thing. Make sure you treat your symptoms. All right. Make sure you're eating healthy. Take your herbs. So I take them. I'm just saying I take all types of stuff. I live a healthy lifestyle. No, not that I know of, hold up. But I do have a friend, one of my ex coworkers, his wife tested positive. She's in the ICU because she has dialysis. She gets dialysis. That's the thing. Just me, I'm in shape. I take care of myself. But if you have a pre-existing condition, oh man, I mean it's gonna be rough. I thought it was rough on me, but I can only imagine if you're on dialysis, you have cancer. Let's see here. You already have some respiratory issue. Like little things like going up and down the stairs. I've been going up and down the stairs today. You know. So yeah, but I think that the main thing is, me personally, there needs to be a 30-day just lockdown. There needs to be a 30-day lockdown. Judy Jones, my sister-in-law tested positive. Hold on, let me read this. My sister-in-law tested positive. She's in the hospital with double pneumonia. She has diabetes, asthma, and hypertension. All right, okay. I hope the sister heals. I was about to say something smart in regards to the herbalist, you know, but we want the sister to heal, and I hope she pulls through. Yeah, there needs to be a 30-day mandatory lockdown. Mandatory. I don't have high. I'm healthy as hell. And I apologize, sister, because I was about to say something about the herbalist, but I'm sorry. I want the sister to heal. And that's the thing. That's why there needs to be a 30-day knockdown, because people like the sister right there, if she comes in, if she comes in contact with somebody, say again, there are, you don't understand the number of people who have pre-existing conditions who are my age and younger. Now imagine they get this. Now imagine they come down with this. It's gonna be an uphill battle. But yeah, so I'll be under quarantine for like another 7 days. But even after then, the only places I'm going to see my son. I'm going to try to stay out of places of large gatherings. If the gym opens back up, go to the gym. I have two gyms. I have well, I don't go to LA Fitness anymore. That's a large gym. So my other gym is like a smaller boutique gym, so it's not a lot of people in there unless they're doing classes. Yeah. No, build up your immune systems, whatever you got to do that. But I just personally think that shit needs to be shut down for about 30 days. Yeah, no gym. Okay. I don't know. I like to go to that. I lost like 15 pounds, as you can see. So in the Bay Area, we are on lockdown. If not an essential worker, nurse, doctors, police, I got an N95 mask. Yeah. I would say 30 days lockdown. Listen, I'll take a couple calls. If you want to call in, hit me up. Guys, go ahead and email me if you want to call in. Uhuru at searchforhoover.com, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe as well. But if you want to call in and ask a question, by all means, call in. Even the conspiracy theorists, you're more than welcome to call in. Even the conspiracy theorists, you're more than welcome to call in. But yeah, I'm getting better. I mean, I'm improving. So yeah, if you guys want to call in, go ahead. My brother Charlie's friend is about 65 days in the hospital ICU in Atlanta on a ventilator for 4 days, positive for coronavirus. Yeah, it's real. You know, it's very real. But it's just for some reason, there are people who, even though they're adults, they're just, and we have a lot of immature adults. And I think, and that's the problem. All right, let's see here. All right, I just sent the link out to a couple people. Go ahead and call in. Don't take things for granted. Absolutely. Like walking up the stairs. You guys do not understand. You guys do not understand just the struggle I was having just to walk up and down my stairs. Yusuf, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Dennis?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Uh, Hey, family. Listen, man. First off, speedy recovery to you and everything. Like I said, I just tuned in today, but I just wanted to I know I'm looking a little rough on TV, but I just wanted to comment to you about the herbalist comments that you were making, and not to knock, like I said, your condition or anything that anybody else is going through in dealing with the coronavirus and everything. I just think that it's when we start talking about man-made diseases and some of the experimentations, we can't ignore the history that has like it's like there isn't a precedent or there isn't a history of these experiments in the past. Not to jump on any conspiracy theory bandwagon or anything. I just want to say that when these guys, like I said, these herbalists or people who practice natural medicine discuss these remedies or these preventions that they are doing to prevent having these diseases and stuff. We got to understand that we're talking about apples and oranges. The average herbalist or the person who practices natural medicine or living out in the bush, eating herbs and living that lifestyle aren't dealing with high blood pressure, aren't dealing with heart disease, aren't dealing with diabetes, aren't dealing with all of these other ailments and stuff that we find in the Western world due to lack of poor diet, lack of nutrition, and all of the GMOs and extra stuff that we have to deal with and contend with in modern day society. So I just say that those are two different aspects, like I said, apples and oranges. So when you start to cross, when you talk about these man-made diseases, that as a result of, and like I said, not to put a conspiracy theory spin or anything, but we don't know what the ramifications of GMO genetically modified foods have in our diet and how those things manifest themselves in the generations after 5 years, 10 years, 12 years or so in our diets or in our society. We don't know what the ramifications of all these experimental drugs that they just released on the market, to treat a symptom, just to make money off of, that's not really a cure to anything, that's not really treating a real disease, but treating a symptom. We don't know what the ramifications of those things are. So all I'm saying is that, conspiracy theorists that in defense of the herbalists is that those guys who practice that natural medicine, a natural way of living, don't have to contend with a lot of the other 90% of the stuff that we have to contend with in the modern day world, eating the modern day foods and processed foods and the rest of the stuff that we have to deal with. So you can't say that you can blatantly discredit all herbalists because, oh, look, this man-made disease, yeah, eat a herb, sea moss can't cure corona. Yeah, okay, true, but it cured a hell of a lot more. It prevented cancer. It prevented, what I'm saying? It has a lot of other benefits that were residual, over the lifespan of compared to someone else who grew up in Western medicine, taking antibiotics and all of that stuff. And look at hell, they ain't, they still grow up with heart disease, still grow up catching cancer, still grow up with, a bunch of other different things that, modern medicine, quote unquote, should have prevented.
Right.
You
Like
know,
I said, again, as far as for preventative and as far as for a supplement, I'm all for it. Never said I was against herbalism. But then when people come out here saying they could cure this, that, and the other with no proof, that's when it starts getting kind of murky.
Right. And again, like I said, I'm not taking the side of any herbalist that claims to have the cure to corona or that can tell you how you should get better and dealing with what you're going with. I'm only saying
Because,
that.
and I hate to bring this up, and I don't want to. Let's see here. My dad died at the age of 85. My dad smoked weed every day, ate microwave foods every day.
All right.
He outlived Dr. Africa and Dr. Sebi.
Okay.
I'm just, again, I agree that there should be certain supplements in place as far as herbalism. I completely agree. But it's to a point now where everybody's an herbalist and we're just taking this to the extreme now.
All right. Again, I got no argument there. I mean, like I said, I can see both. I can see both sides. That's all I'm saying. And I just think that we should be considerate of, like I said, all encompassing. Take the whole solution as a whole. When you start talking about natural or holistic or herbalistic medicine, just look at the results over a span of lifetime. Of practice, or more than just a pop-up flare-up. Like I said, this is becoming a global pandemic now. When we're talking about this COVID-19 and talking about no one knows where it's going to go or how it's going to where it's projected, how that's to affect everything else. So I just think we just need to be more open-minded, I guess, at this point. Being that we
Yeah, I'm
don't know.
definitely open minded, bro. Like I'm not against the herbs. It's just when people claim you need to use the herbs, and it's just like, I mean, come on, bro. Like,
Right. All right, brother. I just wanted to wish you like I said, get well, brother. Like I said, I'm a big fan. I support you and everything. So, like I said, and to the rest of your family, the rest of the Search for Uru fan base, everybody who's out there listening, dealing with family and everybody else who's dealing with this, all of you guys get well. Do what you got to do to take care of yourself and stay safe. And Dinas, we miss you. Welcome to see you back. Get well soon, brother.
All right, brother. I appreciate it, man.
All right.
Go ahead, bro.
Yo, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, how you doing? You doing good?
Yeah.
It's good to see you recovered, man. I was worried. African Superstar sent me the news, and once I seen it, I was like, "Oh no, man! This is touching somebody close." So, like again, it's great to see that you recovered. I just wanted to come on here. I didn't get to watch the whole episode. I came in. I was doing something. It's been a lot going on, but I definitely just wanted to speak in real quick that we're happy to see you back and you recovering. Man, I'm telling you, we were super worried. I just hit up African Superstar today and was like, "Hey, is D all right, man? Is he recovered?" She was like, "Oh, I don't know." So it's good to have you back, have the warrior in the battle. And I think it's imperative that we do let people know, like, hey, man, this is real.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you coming out and saying that because, I've been back in the States for a little bit and I got the family prepared. I was like getting the mask and buying P100s. And they were like, "Oh, you're tripping. You're tripping. This ain't that serious. The media is blowing it out of proportion."
Nah, it's real, bro. Trust me, it's real.
Yeah, because you look like you slimmed up a little bit.
Yeah,
so
I did. Yeah,
real on the battlefield, and it was, it's a lot of stuff where I understand the media cried wolf a lot of times, I guess, right?
Right.
So they're like, "Oh, they cried wolf." So at this point, people are not really listening. And I was like, man, I've been in other countries. I really just came from Israel, and they were taking the precautions and they were doing what's necessary. South Korea, all these other different places, they were taking it very serious.
Right.
And I saw the, behaviors of what we had going on. And I don't care about everything that's going on, but I do want the Black community to be prepared. I definitely did a video on it also, where it's like, hey, man, it's not a Kuma Matata. Hopefully it will pass over.
Let me ask you this, brother. Do you think the Black community is prepared?
Man, no. I just hit up one of the guys who's running for mayor in one of the cities where it's predominantly Black over there in Bmore. And I was getting in contact with him like, hey, man, are you prepared? Because I was going to take a trip to South Korea and get some actual streamline with some NGOs, some kits, because we don't got kits here. And he was like, oh, no, man, once this Rona's over, we back at. And I was like, yo, this is a very serious time. And I know everybody's like, of course, our community, people are really trying to get things done, like pay the light bill. They don't have these lofty jobs where jobs are like, hey, take a 2-month vacation off, Billy. We'll take it out in advance. So we're really not prepared for this at all. And even when I prepared my family, they were just clowning me the whole way through the process. Like, oh, it's not that serious. Why are you tripping? People were going to the gun store, buying out ammunition. We couldn't even get more than 200 rounds. All the shotguns were bought out. Like, people fighting for toilet paper. It's all crazy going up and down all the way around. And a lot of people don't have, of course, faith in the government, of course, rightfully so. And also, they're thinking about themselves. And for our community, unfortunately, we weren't taking it that serious. We've been through a lot. So even my own family was telling me, I've been through other things. I've been through Lyme disease. So I'm going to be all right in this situation. And I'm like, well, this is not the same.
Right.
Your immune system is compromised. So if anything, this is very critical that you be aware of what you're doing, how you're taking care of yourself, where the masks are bought. And, you don't do Kuma Matata when the light bill come on. You just don't say, I hope we make it through. You actually go out there and do things. So if there's a 1% chance that it is real and, then err on the side of caution and protect yourself. That's all I'm saying. So even if we deal with people who are like, man, this ain't real, bro. It's just the media. They blowing it out of proportion and getting on the live streams. Once I saw those, I don't know if you saw that. I saw those people's lyrics change. At the beginning, they was like, it's stupid. Y'all tripping. Y'all clowning.
Well, but see, my thing was always, my thing is, I was like, okay, there's something more to it.
Of course.
That they're hiding, So, but yeah.
That's rightfully so. That's rightfully so. I have had meetings before, and it was meetings in certain circles, and they were just like, hey, look, guys, it's worse than what it is. You guys don't even know, but we're not going to release the information at this time. We don't want everybody to panic. So I'm sitting there like, wait, hold on, you telling me that there's more to this? It's worse than what we think it is, but you're not telling me? Like, well, yeah, we don't want you guys to panic. And so I'm like, nah, man, just tell me straight. I like it straight. I like my chasers. I don't like no chasers, so I just want to know the information. So I do understand that element when people say, there's something going on in this. But most definitely there is something where, for the first time, Department of State got level 4 travel ban. Nobody can travel in the world as far as the advisory. And, countries shutting off borders completely.
Right.
And people don't get it this part. They don't understand, like, oh, people can't move anymore, but packages can't move anymore. Like, you're starting to see packages over in other countries that provide us with our produce. We've imported so much stuff when it comes to food supplies that countries are starting to hoard it. Even nations are like, we're not going to send those shipments overseas no more. We need to keep an inventory here in the nation because, they don't know how long people are going to be bunkered down trying to fight this virus.
Right. Let me, brother, we appreciate you coming on. Let me get a hold up on here.
Yeah, of course.
All right, brother, for sure.
It's good to see you, man. Hey, we're still gonna do the trip to Nigeria, man. They ain't gonna stop us.
Yeah, August. We're going in August.
Okay, and this time I'm coming, so I got approved leave and everything. So I'm coming.
Okay, well, hit me up, man, so we get you all set
okay, bet. Hey, yo, King, keep doing you. Stay healthy, all right?
All right, for sure.
All right, for sure. Peace, everybody.
Bye-bye. Hold up. Okay, hold up. I gotta give you the disclaimer. Come on. PG-13.
I got you. I'm gonna be calm. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, nice to see you too, brother.
Yeah, I was worried about you when I saw that. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. See, I messed up already. I apologize. Nah, but so I guess I want to ask you, did the doctors or like the hospital, I guess you weren't a carrier because you experienced the symptoms, right?
I don't know, bro. I tested positive for it, and I don't know.
Well, they must have. If they let you out, then they obviously not concerned about you passing it on to anybody.
Well, yeah, that's a funny thing. So I guess they were just quarantine yourself and stay within like 6 feet from people, and some other stuff they were saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm feeling you on the herbalist thing, though. I mean, I hear exactly what you're saying because I'm healthy in terms of like I take herbs and stuff like that, and I eat consciously. But
Right.
I hear what you're talking about is the people that out here making claims that they can't back up.
Right.
You know, and another aspect of it is too, you can't really take those people too seriously because they still want to live here. They still want to be under the white man's rule, under his socioeconomic and political structure. So how serious are they about like really, because you have to have an environment that supports your diet,
Right.
you know?
Right.
That makes it a lot easier. Like if you're in countries where they don't have this McDonald bull crap and all these other fast food joints, then yeah, you're probably going to be more healthy than you are living in America. So if anything, why aren't the herbalists nationalists? Why aren't they down for getting out of here and establishing their own country where they can control the context that they live in? It seems like everybody wants to stay here, but yet they want to, like, you know, like I said before, they want to not smoke crack in the crack house. So I don't take these people that serious, man.
Right.
And another thing that I'm really getting annoyed with is here we go again with this white man is Thanos thing.
Right.
Let me just throw something out there. Is it possible that everything isn't a plan? Is it possible that sometimes the system get caught with its pants down? Is that possible, or is everything is a plan? Everything that happens. So the white man came up with a plan to crash his economy.
Hold on, let me stop you right there, not to cut you off. Tech news. This is all I'm saying when it comes to the herbalist. Hold on one second. Let me put this comment up here, and I want you to respond to this color too. We need peer-reviewed resources. This has nothing to do with Western this, that. It has to do with verification of sources. That's all I'm asking for.
I agree.
When it comes to the herbalist, that's all I'm asking for.
I agree.
I'm not saying don't take your herbs. I take herbs. But once we get into this curing this and curing that, okay, and then you don't really present anything, then I'm like, all right, come on now.
Yo, Brian, if you want to scare a conscious community herbalist, just say peer review. That's all you got to say. First of all, they won't know what the hell you're talking about. But that's all you need to repel all that nonsense. And like I said, I'm not against herbs because, like I said, I take herbs. I eat consciously. You know, I'm anything that's got high fructose corn syrup, I stay away from. I try to eat as consciously and read the ingredients to everything. But here's a thought. If we really want to be healthy, don't we need to change our environment? I'm just saying. If I don't want to smoke crack, it's very odd that I live in a crack house. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So if we really serious about controlling our health, why not get in a healthy environment? And only environment that could be healthy is one that we create for ourselves. We ain't going to do it here. What you're gonna take away all the fast food out of America? You're going to take away all the high fructose corn syrup, all the sugar, all the salt, and all the crap in the diets of the American diet. What are you going to do with it? Oh, you want to live here, but avoid that at the same time. To me, it makes sense to get the hell away from it.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yes, sir. Let me bring African superstar on. Jenna.
Brother.
Yo.
Hello.
Hi, Holip. How are you?
I took care of them trolls for you.
Man, listen, these people, first and foremost, Dinus, I'm really happy to see you, man. When you was going over the situation, I was over here just like really shook and crying, and because it's, it's worrisome. I see you lost weight. I know you've been down, and I'm really happy to see you back. With that being said, the people that are here in this chat room need to have respect for this man. He's recovering. He doesn't have to come and share these details. He doesn't have to come and give us a window into his experience. I think it's highly disrespectful what a lot of people are in there saying. I requested you give me a wrench too, Dinah, so I can handle that.
Please give her one.
Okay.
Yeah. So secondarily, I also got a phone call for people that are watching us today. I live in the UK. So I got a phone call from one of my friends who's a doctor and working in London. And he told me that that the media is underreporting this thing, that it's much larger.
Let me stop you right there, Jenna. I agree, because I completely agree. I think it's worse than what it really is.
That's what he was
Yes,
saying.
it is.
He was saying that it's not just affecting elderly people or underlying conditions. He said he witnessed a 21-year-old person, healthy, come in yesterday about 12 p.m. and by 2 o'clock they were in critical condition and passed away. And he said it's also affecting Black people. That's another thing that they've been circulating is, oh, it's not hitting us as hard. It doesn't affect us as hard. And basically, he told me that the doctors and the nurses, the non-Black doctors and nurses, are very hesitant to treat patients. And
Let me stop you, Jenna. So I'm gonna tell you my experience at Emory Healthcare. So there was a non-black doctor, Indian lady. In fact, I'm doing a Indian lady, right?
mhm.
So I'm in a hospital bed. She comes in. I have my oxygen situation. She says, "Oh, you don't need this," and cuts my shit off.
Wow.
Then she says, "In fact, I'm going to call her out. Hold on. What was her damn name? Hold on, I'll tell her name right now."
Yeah, while you looking that up, so he told me that this is also contributing to the extremely high death rate is because people are coming to the hospital and they're not getting treated, they're getting neglected, and because they've been circulating this lie that it's not affecting Black people, they also use that to justify why they're not giving them immediate treatment. They're saying, oh, this person is not in critical condition when they really are, so that they can give attention to other people. And this is from a doctor working on the front lines. He told me that there was a doctor in London who had already previously scheduled to be out of the hospital, like on annual leave, we call it here. And he still chose to take those 2 weeks off. His colleague said, it's a crisis. We're slammed. And he was like, well, I got to take my vacation. Like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to not take my vacation. So to the people that, I know we have a lot of people that come on our platforms that they're so confident in the West, and they love America, and they just think that these people are going to do right by them. I just want to let you know, if you find yourself in a situation where you are in a life or death situation, or you're depending on these people to be ethical. People in the medical field take vows that they are going to try to preserve life at all costs. And that's not what's happening. And so if they're in the situations to choose between you and other people, and Dynas is also sharing this as well. So I made a video actually on my channel sharing all this information that he gave me, and it was extremely, extremely concerning. So I know the epidemic is exploding in America more so than it is here, but I mean, the bottom line is prevention is the way forward, because you know these people are not going to look after us adequately. They don't have all the resources anyway, nor would they ever choose us over them. So that's what it is. That's what it is. And I mean, no disrespect to people that uh, are all about holistic treatments. I think we have to understand that this situation is a man-made disease. You can look at Dynas and you can see his weight loss. That would be the first indicator to let you know that he has had a sickness and things like that. And if it can have an impact on him so drastic, then just imagine what it would do to other people that are not as strong, have weaker immune systems, and things like that.
Her name is Dr. Michelle Sundar. So she comes into my room, right? So I got my little nasal, whatever you guys call it. And she's like, and so my oxygen was like at 92 or 91, which isn't normal. So she goes, "You don't need this," and cuts it off. And so I'm like, hold on, I'm having breathing issues. Like I need that. She's like, I don't need it. So then she's on some yeah, I don't know why you're still here. This is something that needs to be treated at your house. And I'm telling her, like, look, I'm not right. I need to be at the hospital. I'm not right. And I'm staying one more night. She's like, well, I could call security to have you removed. And I'm like,
What?
yeah, she told me that. Dr. Michelle Sundar, she told me that. And
So,
so
Dynas, do you think, based off of what you experienced, had you stay home and just say, okay, I'm just going to try to self quarantine and try to, pass this virus alone with no medical attention. How do you think that would have worked out?
It wouldn't have worked out. I mean, I would have been in someone's ICU probably.
Mm.
Like it wouldn't have worked out. So it would have been terrible. So, I mean, then I'm like, do you tell all your patients that? She's like, well, this is something we treated at home and blah 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 blah. So yeah, so guys, the medical apartheid is very real. Because I know she does not tell all her patients that.
Oh yeah, and the doctor that I spoke with is a Ghanaian, and the crazy thing is, because I scolded him when he told me he was in London. He actually is from Frankfurt, Germany. And I said, what are you even doing here? And he said, we came 3 weeks ago for a medical summit here. And because of the dire need for medical staff, we just started working here at one of the local hospitals because he said the media is just greatly underreporting it. And as far as this whole, it doesn't affect young people, it doesn't affect Black people. It's just an absolute complete lie.
You got people in this chat that's not taking it serious.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this chat is mad disrespect. Man, listen. I mean, I just think, I'm just so happy to have you back, bro. You just don't know, because I was really, when I got the news, I was extremely concerned. I actually was concerned about a month ago when they canceled the NBA season. I knew then, because of money, because of lost revenue, I knew that it was serious. And I think we were a little slow as far as implementing the lockdown and stuff like that here in Europe. But I personally scaled back my activities a few weeks ago because I knew that this was not a joke. And so for people, also people that are on the continent, I think they're taking a bit more seriously, just like Black Ambassadors was saying. A lot of people are taking it much more seriously than those in the West. People in America are still kicking it. They're still refusing to stay in, and things like that. And the other thing that he told me that was critical was, I said, well, why is this spreading the way that it is? And I said, is it airborne? And he said, it's not that it's airborne. He said that normal viruses are contagious when you start showing symptoms. So you're sneezing, you're coughing, and things like that. He said, but this one, even when you feel healthy, even when you're not showing any signs, you're highly contagious. So that is how people are, like you said, you were in the grocery store, probably you feel like that was the largest place you were around people. And you had it for a few days before you begin to experience the symptoms. So that is how it is being passed along. And that is why we're being recommended to stay in. That way, if we are a carrier, we will not be passing it along to other people in our vicinity. So, yeah. So, I'm happy to see you, Dynas. And I wish you a speedy recovery. I know you're probably not up to 100. So I thank you for still coming out here. I kind of got a lot of.
I'm just gonna grab my charger. Keep talking. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I think I got a lot of the kickback when you were absent. Oh, African superstar, what's up with Dynas? How did he get the coronavirus? What is he taking? And I thought to myself, man, these people have no protocol. Like, that is so rude and disrespectful. I'm telling you, you know what I mean? Like, I think at the end of the day, we have to think, okay, what if this was affecting me? Would I want people blowing up my cell phone? Would I want people in the chat room like, oh, this is an agent, you wasn't really sick, we want proof? Like, are you serious? Like, when it happens to you, when it happens to your family member, when it happens to your children, you'll be singing a different song. Even probably the herbalists will be rushing over to the hospital, trying to get a ventilator and do what they need to do for their family members. So it's really easy to talk out the side of your neck. It's real easy to just let the word slip. But let's be 100, okay? And this thing it's not a game. It's not to be taken casually. So I would say, if you value your life and the life of people around you, you should start to conduct yourself in a manner that really displays that.
Just to back up what you said, the last time I checked, the virus originated in China. U.S. numbers are actually outdoing China.
Correct.
So I don't know what people is thinking. I don't know how they can't take that serious.
Well, I mean, according to the, popular opinion. I mean, you can look in the chat and see people think the media is, blowing this out of proportion when, people that actually have access to people that are inside the hospital. Here you're talking to Prince Dinas Samir. He's giving you his experience. But people that are working in the medical field are saying that the media is underreporting it.
Right.
I
believe so.
Yeah, and also because of the fact that you can have no symptoms, for a while and things like that, the numbers are significantly higher. We are aware that they don't have enough medical equipment to deal with us. I heard nationwide in America they have about 150 ventilators. That boils down to about 1 in 50. One ventilator for every 50 people. And actually President Trump, although he's out there acting all confident, he's actually soliciting help and asking for medical supplies from several other nations, including South Korea and some countries here in Europe. So the situation is dire. And I mean, obviously some of us, you still got to go out and eat. You can't hoard up in the house consistently for weeks on weeks without getting out, and it's also not good for your health. But I mean, you have to be mindful about your activity, because people on the front lines are saying that we're not getting a fraction of what it really is. And obviously we're going to be the last on the totem pole as far as getting taken care. You know what I mean? They don't prioritize us in normal conditions.
And we don't have nobody looking out for us anyway.
Correct.
Period.
And then you have also, like my friend said, you have apprehensive medical staff. You have doctors that are taking vacations, even though they know it's a pandemic. You have nurses and so on and so forth that are afraid to interact with you, afraid to treat you, and things like that. So it's not encouraging when it comes to having to interact with the healthcare system. So I've personally been promoting on my channel. For anyone who is not familiar with me, my channel is called The African Superstar. I've kind of been reporting on this for the past few weeks, and I've really been promoting people to self-isolate. I know it's not fun, but at the end of the day, we know in our houses, we don't have the coronavirus. So it's probably one of the safest places for us to be.
Right.
Because we there's no treatment, and this very well will be a vehicle for them to push their vaccine when they develop it. They'll be trying to force everybody to have it because this thing has been created to kind of set the climate for us to need that or to request it. So it's unfortunate, but again, I think the moral of the story is, Dinas, welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Speedy recovery, man. And, I would say you're ambitious wanting to get back out there and get back to life as usual. I would probably be so scared. You know what I mean?
It's what it is.
I think you need to be doing video calls with Mansa, man.
Yeah, I'm doing that too.
Okay. Just until you get 100, so you get back to your fullest operations.
Well, sister, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Much love.
All right, peace. All right, hold up.
Yeah, they like people are really like taking this thing lightly.
Hold up, you're in Brooklyn, so you're in New York. Like, what's really going on in Brooklyn or New York?
Well, New York is being hit because, see, the problem is, like, if you look at all of these other countries who've basically managed to at least get some level of control over this shit, they have been testing so that they can isolate where the people who have the virus are at. That's not going on here in New York. So all it's doing really is just spreading. And then this idiot this orange clown that we got as a leader in this particular instance in America, his issue is the economy. So he wants people to get back out, like just pretend the virus doesn't exist and just go out and do what you were doing before. He's going to end up making things even worse than they are right now. And what I would suggest for the people who think that this is just like the flu, why don't you volunteer to go to the hospitals and help out all the other sick people, since you have no qualms about catching it yourself? You have no qualms about rolling the dice with your life. Go and help some other people. Since you're immortal, since you're immune. I find it funny, the same people that's talking all of this crap, you know where they are? They're in their house. Isolated, quarantined. But they're online talking about, oh, it's no big deal. Go out and do what you got to do. You got to make that money. Saying that while you stuck up in your house. Stop being a hypocrite, man.
Well, let me bring Kevin on real quick. Go ahead, Kevin.
Peace. What's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yep.
Yeah, no, this whole thing is wild. I definitely agree with what all of y'all are saying. Like, I'm glad that you're doing well and recovering, Dinas. It's a unique situation. I was actually just in Kenya myself. I literally got back like about 2 weeks ago. And I was there. My friend, she came from Chicago. She saw me and we were just there. And she went back and then she was hitting me up saying that they're calling a national state of emergency. They're blocking flights from Europe. So I was like, should I come back? Should I stay? And I'm just really wondering what's going to happen as far as like the healthcare systems and how things are how Africa's going to respond to the situation as far as self-preservation and not that they're like in danger right now, but like going forward, how it looks like on the continent. To just do for self instead of like leaders going to other countries. And now the whole world is just in a unique situation. Like the other brother was saying, like people are hoarding food now. And so it's a situation that I think it's going to change the whole global scene. And when I was there, I was studying herbs with the herbalist. And he, like you guys are saying, he really is about the balance, like definitely go
Right,
to
that's all I'm saying, Kevin.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Balance. Like I'm not saying I take herbs.
Yeah,
I just think you have in everything you have people who are balanced, and then you have people who are just extremists.
Yeah.
Well, why not? Let's just ask the question. What herbs cure the coronavirus right now?
There's none. Yeah, exactly. Like, go to the hospital. Yeah. So
there it is.
Exactly.
It's simple.
Yeah. And I'm with you. And I think that people are like, it's capitalism too. Like people are trying to I got this, like, trying to sell something. But the herbs they definitely do make a difference to a degree as far as like prevention, like you were saying. But it was a cool experience.
And even then, when it comes to this, that doesn't matter because people that are healthy are catching it.
Exactly. And young.
Right.
I was surprised when you got it.
So it's not even preventing anything.
Yeah. So, and I wasn't sure if I got it, so I just came back and I just fasted. I had like some smoothies, and this was like fasting basically for like the past week. But it is crazy, and so I agree too with what you're saying about how we should just really focus on going to Africa, and really start developing for ourselves and start building things and being in a conducive environment for the sunlight, the oxygen, all that.
Thank you.
Hey, Kevin, you said you met Amin-Ra?
Yeah. So basically,
what happened?
Basically what happened was we met up. So I got there. I left in December. I just got back. I was there for 3 months. So I got there. We met up about a month into it, and he basically was just saying. He texted me. He's like, "Oh, I've been losing some energy. I've been a little tired, and I don't know what it is. I just kind of feel like he was like hard time moving around, and he wasn't sure what it was. So he went and got checked out." And then I saw him in Mombasa briefly. We just had a cool little, discussion, conversation, whatnot. We spent some time for just a few hours. And then I went back again to go to Mombasa. And I hit him. One of my boys hit me up who's actually in there who's in Mombasa now. And he was like, yo, I'm in Ross in the hospital. Not doing too well. So I called his wife. And she was the one like answering all the calls on this WhatsApp group. And by the way, the WhatsApp group, I can... if people are interested in supporting, to contribute, I can you just contact me or something like that. But basically, I'm not sure exactly what the diagnosis was, but he was. Some people think that he was internally bleeding. He had low oxygen levels. Mentally he was not 100% cohesive. He wasn't able to really understand what was going on in a whole way. And all of a sudden, I just came back. I was back for like a week, and then I heard that he had passed, unfortunately. And it was kind of shocking because he was doing better. But I think I think it potentially could have been a long-term thing that all of a sudden just crept up on him, and he had passed, and it was difficult. I saw him in the hospital.
Scary out here, boy.
And it was he was so when I met him, he was a martial artist, so he was strong and healthy, and in Mombasa, just happy, and doing his thing, and yeah, so it's really unfortunate. So obviously his wife and the young daughters and people are they're feeling that, and definitely it's kind of surreal still. I'm still like, wow, I just saw the dude like, you know, not that long ago, and now, you know, so it's real. And what you're saying, just to, you know, like the media underrepresenting all this kind of stuff, I think that people need to take it more serious. You know, it's real out here, and it's crazy. You know, but yeah, the whole thing with Amin Ra, it's really surprising.
Because somebody was saying it was his liver.
That's what the doctors. So unfortunately, I'm not sure exactly how. I hate to say this, but I'm not sure exactly how. Like he got a CT scan and he got some scans, but they still didn't have a 100% good diagnosis. And his liver was having complications. They thought, but it could have been a more holistic, systematic issue that he was having. And like you said, he wasn't a drinker, and he was relatively healthy, eating good food. He did martial arts. Like some people said that it could have been internal bleeding. You know,
Crazy,
low oxygen
man.
levels. You know, yeah. So it's nuts. It's sad, and my deepest condolences to him, and you know, his loved ones, and it's wild. You know,
man, that's sad. That's really
Yeah,
sad.
it is, man.
Yeah.
And the last thing we need is people out here acting like they got it all figured out. Everybody got the solution in the product. Like, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a pandemic affecting the entire world.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Stop it. Just stop.
Yeah. But
Yeah. Well,
sorry, what were you gonna say?
Brother Kevin, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Peace, Kevin.
Peace, guys.
Anytime, brother. I'll go ahead, hold up.
Yeah, man. So it's really but I guess this is what you're gonna get. It's like everybody's gonna, just act like they got everything figured out, or they gonna go according to their old templates.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes stuff happens. It's just unique. Did you see like the unemployment people that apply for unemployment? It like, if you look at the chart, what's happening now is unprecedented.
Right.
Like there's nothing that's even came before this with the amount of people, and you're talking about in 1 month. So it's going to get worse, and when you have people, there's nobody really running this ship here in America. I mean, you saw what happened with this so-called coronavirus bailout or stimulus, whatever.
Right.
The people in power saw it as an opportunity to get more money, and what they did was give the people scraps.
Right.
What is a $1,200 check that you don't get into May going to do about this situation when people have rent that's due April? What are you going to do? So what they're doing is they putting you in a position where as the government usually does, they putting the responsibility on you. So what they're selling you by that little BS stimulus thing that they sent you is, you can either stay home and be safe, or take your chances and go to work and make some money.
Right.
Every other country is taking care of their citizens. Canada is giving people $2,000 a month.
Are you serious?
Yes, $2,000 a month, making sure nobody's evicted. And even after, and they're doing it for 4 months. And after the 4 months is over, they're going to extend the unemployment insurance just to make sure that they're okay. America does not give a damn about its citizens. Period. They don't give a damn about their citizens. When stuff like this happens, they see it as an opportunity for, oh, here's another thing. The Fed is giving the banks $1 trillion a day.
Wow.
And the reason why it's not causing inflation is because it's going directly to the banks. It's not being circulated in the population. It's just giving money to the banks to make sure that they're okay and that they're good. And yet, there was a fight for whether the people in America should get $2,000 a month so that they can take care of their rent and stuff, for the next coming months. That's a fight. And you saw what the result of it was. At the end of the day, the bought and paid for politicians will take care of their donors. They don't care about the public. The public means nothing to them. The DNC even said, we don't look at we get to pick the DNC, Democratic Party, is our party. We pick who our nominee is going to be. I'm like, word? So why are people voting? What's the purpose of having people voting in the state if at the end of it you go, I don't care what they said, we're going to pick this person?
Right.
It's all a joke, man. And the thing I'm wondering is, when is people going to see it as that and start acting accordingly? How many more examples do we need? Because what's going to happen is people are going to have to go to work. And when they go to work, the virus is going to spread even more than it's spreading now. And then what?
And that's the thing. Like, it's going to just, I mean, like I said, I'm not sure, but I caught it at a grocery store. Imagine you at the collections call center.
Yeah. And what's scary about you catching at a grocery store, at some point we got to go out and go to the store and get food. You gotta, get stuff from the grocery store. So the fact that you caught it there is scary, man. It's like, so
again,
I don't know.
I don't have the proof, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, you know yourself.
Right.
You know yourself more than anybody.
Right.
So I'm imagining that you're correct.
Hardcore truth. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, buddy? I think it's pretty clear to a lot of people.
Oh God, here's this moron.
Hey, hold on. Is this
yeah, this is this jackass. What's his name?
Hold on, caller. Go ahead, hardcore truth. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. See, I don't mind insults because I just like
brother, hardcore truth. Get to the point.
Clowns usually don't.
Okay, getting to the point. This is all fake. This is all propaganda. That's getting to the point.
It says what?
It's all fake. It's
all right. Go ahead, Mufasa. I ain't got time for shit today.
Yeah, come on, dude. Why is that dude? And I guarantee you, he's holed up in his house.
Right, go ahead,
he ain't saying that in a Starbucks.
Mufasa,
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Go
ahead.
Yeah,
what's up, man?
Oh, what's going on? Yeah, I wanted to go against the grain a bit too. I ain't gonna say it ain't fake or no shit like that. That's over the top. But when I heard the news, man, I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried. I assumed that you would recover. That's just how I feel about it. Now, and that what I wanted to ask too was, you guys both said 30-day shutdown. What happens after the 30 days is my question.
You assess where everything's at, and you decide on what's next.
Right.
Mufasa,
so I'm here.
Keep in mind, this is something we're just saying. The people in power are the ones who's going to determine what happens next. Because a 30-day shutdown, if you don't do certain things within that 30-day shutdown, and what's like you saying, what's the point?
Well,
if you keep everybody in their house for 30 days and you're not doing any testing, any sufficient testing where you can see where the virus is concentrated at, then what's the point? And which is what we're getting to. That's why with Trump, people are going to go to work and people are going to get infected and people are going to get sick. It's no way to avoid it because nobody's doing anything about it. They're acting as if the virus is just going to go away.
But so 12 to 18 months is the pretty much the general amount of time before a vaccination is made. Is that what you've been hearing? That's what I've been getting.
That's what I've been hearing too.
Expert, right? So we're not gonna shut down for that long. You know what I mean? I feel like the only thing, and then Trump said April, I believe, the 12th, and then
whenever Easter is.
Yeah, sometime in the middle of April. Like I said, we've been shut down. So I guess he's a little earlier, and he's saying they're going to try. I'm pretty sure that I doubt that that's going to happen. But I'm saying somewhere around a month, we just need to be able to prepare facilities for people to be able to be helped, gather supplies, make some makeshift hospitals so we can handle the uptick in sick people. But beyond that, man, we could stall all we want, but just shutting down the economy, I don't know if that's the best.
Well, have you been seeing what other countries are doing? How come everybody else seems to have it figured out except us?
I mean, I see people shutting things down, right? And then opening things back up slowly. That's what I'm being told is happening in Japan, China.
But why are they able to do that?
a good question. I mean, which countries? Give me an example because it has to relate. At least it has to relate to the USA. It can't be some small country. It has to relate to the problem the USA has. Well, a
The
lot of
problem
people that
isn't
have been up.
size. The problem is leadership.
Hmm.
Other countries care more about their citizens than the United States does.
But you don't think they
For a
won't make
leader that
money?
money, what? How are you going to spend money if you dead?
No, but what I'm saying is, why would the United States want its economy to just be shut down? They can't collect tax revenue and keep a strong economy.
Good question.
What
Why
is
would
the
they?
point? I wouldn't understand that either.
Why would they? But do you think opening up the economy when the virus is still out and you haven't addressed it at all is a smart thing to do?
Well, who's addressed it though? So, give me an example of
Other
what are you
countries
saying
have
by addressing?
other
All I'm getting
countries
is
have
like
had better
quarantines and
testing, so they
investigation.
were able to figure out where the virus is concentrated and lock it down so that it doesn't spread. See, the problem is the spread of the virus. They addressed that because they did the testing. They found out where it was located. They locked that area down, so it's not spreading all over the country like it is right here.
Yeah, well,
So
see, then
certain things
that
have to
boats
be
that
done
ship has sailed though. Like, so if we look at Korea, they took it serious very early,
right.
and that was the main thing with their success. They took it serious very early. They started shutting down before everyone else did. Then when their cases went happened, they were able to investigate the root causes. That was the key, was the investigation, and then touch every person that touched the person, track everything down, and get a handle on it. But that ship has sailed as far as like now, and when we decided to start to take it seriously, and then the scale is just a lot bigger. We can't say size isn't an issue. We ain't Korea. You know what I'm saying? We can't say size is an issue. We got a whole lot more people coming from those affected areas. I don't know. This is what I'm saying. Because I just don't think the numbers are big enough for the thing. Because what's her name was saying that people are underreporting it. I still think it's being overreported. I'm wondering why you guys think it's being underreported.
It's being
Over-reported?
I think so. I think it's being overblown because the numbers, when you put the numbers up against the entire population, is small numbers. You talk 3
Yeah, but
million
Mufasa,
people compared to 80,000.
But Mufasa, the numbers are growing though. That's the problem.
Hmm. No, the numbers are growing. The numbers are growing, but it's still small numbers. And then we're making it like this is just, everybody's about to die. Everybody keeps saying it's not just old people, but I'm not seeing any facts to support that. I'm not seeing any facts to support it.
Everybody's saying it's just old people.
It's not older people like 60 plus with pre-existing conditions. These are like,
Mufasa, you speaking to one of the facts right now.
no, I hear, but you didn't die. You know what I mean? You didn't die.
You're trying. Wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah, but did you
You're
die?
saying that there's no people that have died that have been young?
No. People have died that have been young, but there's a pre-existing condition. Like if you have full-blown AIDS and you die of a common cold,
No.
say that you died of AIDS.
There are people dying
you died of a cold.
There are people dying with no pre-existing conditions.
In what numbers? Like I said, these are my questions, right? In what numbers, to the answer to the statement that you just made, in what numbers and how do we know? How's this being reported? And then when they say someone has coronavirus, if I'm not mistaken, there's coronavirus, which is a family of strains, and then there's COVID-19, which is a particular deadly strain. Now, like Dinas, do you know if you had COVID-19 or just the coronavirus in general? And then when they're reporting numbers, do we know who has COVID-19 or a coronavirus? I think we should know these kind of things before we just come on like we just for sure that they should just take our rights and shut everybody down and ground everything. I don't think there's anything wrong with being skeptical. Like I don't want to get caught up in groupthink where it's just roll with this or you're an idiot. I don't like that type of energy. Do you guys know? Do you know which strain you had, Dinas? I'll start there.
I can check.
Yeah, because
They
if
said
COVID-19 is
coronavirus.
the deadly one,
They told me coronavirus, but let me check before I.
Well, my question is, if people who don't have pre-existing conditions are dying because of this, you willing to take the chance with your life?
Depending on see now. Okay, so once we go to people are not don't have pre-existing conditions and don't fit in that over 60 pre-existing conditions, health conditions, right? Then we have to go. If you can show me that people that don't have them are dying, now we have to go to the rate at which that
What's your
they're
email
dying.
address?
All right. Yeah. Mufasa at Black Division. It's Black Tivision. Right. But to finish my statement, then once we confirm they are dying, right, which I'm sure they have some, we got to investigate the ones that are dying. Then we got to figure the rate at which they're dying. Once we've come up with the rate, then I can give you that answer. But as of now, the rate is not high enough to where I don't
So
think it's worth risking my life.
what rate would you be comfortable with risking your life?
That's a good question. I don't have an exact number. It would have to be something high, man. I don't have an exact number. I guess, shit, man. How do we even know the rate if people ain't tested? It.
Thank
How
you.
many people we testing?
Thank you. That's the problem. This place is
But this,
way
but thi-
behind the
but see,
curve.
but see, you looking at it in one way. I'm looking at the other. So you looking at it like, hey, people aren't being tested. More people may have it. But I'm saying all they show me on the news is who has it and who's died. I'm not seeing the recovery in the negative test. I'm never seeing that. That's not popping up. What are those numbers? And why are they not being shown to us? So I'm saying because it could be going in the other way. It's what I'm seeing. It's not killing that many people yet. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know. We just don't know yet.
When you say
You
it's
know,
not
I'm
killing that many people yet, where are you basing that on?
the total population, the total world population, or if we want to stick to the U.S., the total U.S. population.
Well, the total U.S. population is about 326 million, right?
Million, right? Yeah,
And what's the
327,
percentage of
326.
people dying from the coronavirus? Let's just
The
say it's
percentage
like
of 326 or the
somebody.
percentage of who has been tested?
No, the percentage. Like if you're saying that the total population is 326, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that the death rate is 1%.
Hmm.
How many people are that?
That's millions of people. That's about 3 million people.
Okay. So then my question is, what difference does a percentage make? You think it's going to be less than 1%?
No, that's the 1% of the death rate would have to be to be involved in the death rate, then you have to be already infected. If millions of people start dying from corona, that's something to definitely be concerned about. If millions of people are dropping, 1% is a high percent of the total population. But the real death rate is who's contracted it and who has it. And I think that was at about 4, and I think it's dwindled down. But as you said, we're not getting full testing. So how do we really know? And I don't know who's testing for which strain. It's not enough information. Just
Well, if
them
it's not
flying
enough,
these.
I agree with you. If it's not enough information, I think what I'm having a problem with is if I don't have enough information, then I hope you're not saying that because we don't have enough information, go to work.
Well, oh yeah, my bad. To answer your early question, I am at work actually. We do delivery services, and we come in contact. I come in contact with people just for the record. So
Are they taking any
I am
precautions,
exposing
or
myself.
is it?
Yeah, no, we have gloves. I don't have a mask or anything, and I'm definitely counting cash, and I don't always remember to wear my gloves, which I don't think is smart. But I'm just being honest. I don't think that's smart. I think we should be taking precautions. We got hand sanitizer and gloves,
Mhm.
you know. So yeah, we're taking precautions, but just to answer your question, I am at work. But your earlier statement, I'm at work, and I don't think just because I think you need more information before you asking people to shut things down. You know what I mean? I think I agree with the shutdown, but I think people's response being like, "Hey, we just got to shut it down. Don't go outside," but they don't have a thing after that. I'm like, listen, if we don't go outside for too long, that's going to cause a worse problem. So it's not so simple. It's not so simple to just say shut down. I'm like, no, that causes a worse problem. So I'm not so quick to shut things down. I may need to see more death, more of a higher percentage, more testing, more information on the deaths. That's where I'm at with it. And like I said, we're gonna take a break. We're taking a break now. I think that's a good move. I live in California. We on shut down to non-essential businesses. I agree with that
Mhm.
move, but like I ain't no Trump supporter, but like he was saying, if it's not enough people dying, man, we're gonna have to get this show back on the road as soon as we can.
I don't understand that though. Like, get the show back on the road, meaning what? What does that mean
Get
exactly?
back working. Get back working. Get back
So
working and take precautions.
ignore.
No, I won't ignore it. The action I'm thinking, I'm saying we take precautions with the most affected groups. So if we can confirm 60 pre-existing conditions, we need to quarantine and support those groups or people with certain conditions. Well, through the study we've been able to see, we need to quarantine those certain groups, and we need to let the rest of us get out here and get to work, man. Well, let's quarantine and support them.
So
But
you're
the rest
saying
of
that the
us,
coronavirus is only affecting people that's over 60?
I'm saying as far as the death rates, from what I've been seeing, as far as the death rates, as far as the death rates, if like Dinah's going down, not being able to walk up some stairs for a few days, I can take, you know what I mean? But somebody dying, my grandma is susceptible to that. My father has some pre-existing conditions, you know. So I think we do, she's in that age range with those
So
with
what
high
are we
blood.
gonna do with them if they living with you?
I think the energy that we take in to quarantine and make the changes we're making now, I think you can take that same energy and seriousness with those special groups.
Well, what are you
We got
gonna
to
do
take
with
that
them?
same those precautions. Before you come in contact with them, you need to make sure you're keeping them quarantined and sterilizing yourself before you come in contact with them, being taking high precautions. Letting some time pass by, and we'll have even more. Yeah, I think there's going to be an uptick in amount of people, but we're going to have more data, and and if we're limiting the deaths, I think we get more data and less bodies, and then we get closer and closer to that 12 to 18-month period. We have like a better solution, but I feel like if we shut everything down, we're going to cause other problems because $1,200 a month ain't shit. I mean, 2,000 a month, it's still
It's not
hurting me.
even.
See, I
It's
run a business.
one time payment. It's not even
Yeah, that ain't gonna
monthly.
do it. That ain't really gonna
They
do
should
it.
have. I would have never even voted for that crap. Like, what difference does a $1,200 payment make when you know that it's going to take you a few months to get out of this thing?
Hmm.
And
No, it's
just,
gonna
or
take me.
just me personally, I could care less about the U.S. economy. I don't care if it
Well,
crashes.
okay, but this is my thing, right? I want the U.S. economy to crash eventually, but I don't think that's gonna happen now. And my business is being run with the intention to build in Africa. So a weak economy hurts business for me. Well, it may not. I have an elastic product, but I'm saying it's still gonna hurt in some type of way. So that's really my concern. That's my concern with the U.S. economy or whatever. That's a big recession stalls my Africa plans. That's really where I'm at with it. I don't really give a shit if this economy does or not. But right now, shit, I'm trying to get paid
Yeah.
and redirect that
Indona,
money.
go ahead.
Hi. Hi,
Hey.
Douglas. Hi, everyone. So I wanted to call in because there are a number of things that are being said that aren't fact. So first of all, I'm very much for the herbalist community, but being someone who was, because I met Dynast in 2016, and then a few months after, like in 2017, I was diagnosed. I was told by a doctor in Atlanta that I had the beginning signs of lupus. I didn't want to believe it. I was just like, this is a conspiracy. These, white doctors are just making up whatever. So I did all types of remedies, home remedies, natural products or whatever. Ended up coming to Illinois, going to the hospital here, extremely sick, not knowing what was going on. Had tests done here, they didn't know what was going on. Because I'm also a permanent resident in Canada, I went up to Canada and was in the hospital for about 3 months before I was finally diagnosed with lupus. Now, as someone who has an autoimmune disease, one of the medications that I take is the hydroxychloroquine, which is the medication that they're saying is being used for people that have been diagnosed with COVID-19. Now, knowing that hydroxychloroquine is also a medication that's used in countries that have issues with malaria, like in Congo, where my dad is from, it's called quinine, which is also chloroquine. So it is something that it's a medication that's plant-based. I know that right now in countries such as Congo as well as Nigeria, you have people that are overdosing on this natural medication because it's not being used in the proper fashion. So, you know, knowing that there are natural remedies, but people aren't using them properly is very scary. People just wanting to lean on only using herbs and fruits and vitamins is also very scary, because I was one of those people that was totally against wanting to use Western medicine to heal the body. But now, because of my quote unquote underlying condition, I do have to use um, I guess, the Western medicines. Though one of them that I use is based on a natural African cure, but it still is not distributed in the proper fashion in many African nations. That's one thing that I wanted to say. And then the second thing is that I notice a lot of people are often comparing the United States to Canada when it comes to not only healthcare, but also how the country takes care of its people. The way that the healthcare works in Canada, I don't know how, the rest of you are, but I'm 43. And if you ever remember the way public hospitals were run in places such as New York City and Chicago, they were the absolute worst. And that's how the hospitals are run in Canada. Canadians that have money come to the United States for medical care. And as far as, the way that they're run there, when you go to a clinic, because you have to go to a neighborhood clinic before you can actually be, like, usually to be seen. And the doctors, you can have multiple symptoms, and the doctor might know what's wrong with you, but they'll only treat you for one of those ailments, because every time you go back, you swipe your card, and that doctor receives money. So just like here, it's a system of capitalism, where the doctors are capitalizing on the sick people that are coming to be seen. And as far as the hospitals are concerned, depending on what neighborhood you're in, just like here in the United States, if you are in a wealthy neighborhood in Canada, the healthcare is going to be good. If you are in an underserved community, and there are many of them throughout Canada, in many of the ghettos in Canada, the healthcare is going to be horrific. Horrific.
Wait a
And
minute. Are you saying the Canadian healthcare system is worse than the U.S. healthcare system? That's
absolutely,
factually wrong.
I lived there for 10 years. I lived there for 10 years. Believe me, I lived there for 10 years. And Canada touts itself as being a fully bilingual country, which it is not. One of my sister-in-laws was living in South Africa, and she moved to Canada after her husband sponsored her to come there. And she ended up getting sick. At that time, we didn't know what it was, but we found out later that she has sickle cell. But because she was coming from Africa, they immediately thought that she had some type of communicable disease. There were no Now we lived in a town called Oakville, Ontario, which is a high net worth suburb of Toronto. You can look it up, Oakville, Ontario. And at that time, this was back in like 2000, let me see, 2010, 2011. And at that time, there was only there was a hospital within the city limits. And because there's been so much expansion in the greater Toronto area, there wasn't enough space within that hospital to accommodate all of the residents of that city that needed to be seen. Because there was no one that spoke French in the hospital to translate for her, I stayed with her in the hospital for 4 days, with her laying on a gurney in the hallway for 4 days in Oakville, Ontario. There was no one to translate. Because she was coming from Africa, they assumed that she had some type of disease that was going to expose the other people within the hospital, where they didn't even want to help her. Didn't even want to help her. Believe me,
So
the
that doesn't
medical.
happen here in America?
Absolutely, it does. But that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing. It's the
It's
same
the
thing.
same. All right. How many people in Canada lose their homes off of medical bills or
Well,
go broke?
when it comes to that, now that is different. And the difference is that in Canada, you are taxed at a much higher rate.
Right.
Nearly 50% of your taxes is going to social services.
Right.
Right, but
What
the
is your
problem with,
taxes going to in America?
well, they're supposed to go partially social services, a number of different things. But the issue is that we're taxed at a much lower rate here. So once we accept here in the United States to be taxed at a higher level, then of course we will be able to fund a better healthcare system. But the American public
Actually,
has not yet decided to do that.
and keep in mind, I'm not arguing with you. I hear everything you're saying.
Okay,
um,
sorry.
yeah, I'm not trying to challenge you. Well, what I'm saying is, it's not a question of the higher taxes; it's where the taxes are going. People in
Right.
other countries pay taxes that are higher, but what do they get for those high taxes that they pay?
Well, I'm going to
Basis,
tell you.
what do we
So,
get here in America for the taxes
mhm.
that we pay? So you're paying high
Well,
taxes and you're not
mhm,
getting any services that affect, like for working class people, if you go sick or you have a problem,
mhm.
you're going to spend a whole lot of money. And if you can't afford it, you're going to have to wait just like the people in Canada wait. Except the difference is you're waiting because of what your wallet is saying. They're waiting because of what the conditions are.
Well, it's both. And the reason why I say that it's both is because the people in Canada that have the means, they leave Canada and they come to the United States to be treated.
Yeah.
Whereas those that do not have the means stay there and die.
I
Like
don't,
if you,
you would have to show me some definite proof of that because I can show
okay.
you the rankings of these healthcare systems around the world, and that doesn't add up. But
Well, if
anybody
you,
that's going to America is the perfect place to be if you're rich. That's why rich people come to America. If you're rich, if you're a Saudi prince, you're going to get top level service here in America.
mhm.
My question is if people in America have family members that get sick or they get sick and they
Mhm.
lose their homes, that doesn't happen anywhere else.
Well, so that's a different conversation. So I can say like in Canada they don't really allow foreclosures. What happens is if you inform the bank that you're in distress and are having issues with paying for the home, what they'll do is they'll help you to find someone to purchase your home so it does not go into foreclosure. So that is a benefit of being up there if you are having issues with paying your
Yeah,
mortgage.
which gets to my point. My only point is other countries factor into the equation their citizens.
Well, now I will have to refute that, and the reason being is that so in Canada,
How
what they
about
have
this?
is
Let's meet each other halfway. More than America does.
well, no, hold on a second. So in Canada, they have what's called um, visible minority and the rest. So a visible minority, so the way that they create their statistics up there is based on immigrant population, non-immigrant population, visible minority, and non-visible individuals. So someone who could look at and visibly see that they are not 100% white, they would be listed as a non-minority or a non-visible individual. Whereas someone that you could look at and tell that they are a visible minority, they would be listed as a visible minority, whether they're black, Indian, Chinese, or native. So when it comes down to that, when you are doing the statistics, um, in regards to who's being treated in the healthcare system, you can't really break it down by race. Like you have a clear distinction, here in the United States where you can say, okay, well, less black people are being treated for the same ailments, in comparison to white Americans. Whereas in Canada, all of the minorities are lumped into one group as visible minorities. And within that visible minority group, there's a clear caste system in Canada, especially in the English speaking part of Canada. So you have the Brits, like most white Canadians, who are what they like to refer to themselves as British Canadians. They are at the top of the hierarchy, the top of the caste system. And then after that comes the Chinese. After the Chinese comes the Indians. After the Indians come the Africans. After the Africans come the Afro-Caribbeans. After the Afro-Caribbeans come the Africans the black people that left the United States. And on the very bottom are the native people who are treated like
Hey,
garbage.
real quick, Adona, real quick. I kind of want to get
Uh-huh.
back on. I kind of want to get back on topic as
Okay.
far as coronavirus, because we were kind of, now we
Oh,
dipped into,
sorry.
now we dipped into Canadian politics. That's a whole nother stuff. So yeah. But go ahead, Adona, about the
Yeah,
what do you
so
thought?
then so if I bring it back to the coronavirus, so just like you guys are saying, it's being underreported. So I've spoken to my family in Italy, I've spoken to my family in Belgium, my family in the UK, my family in France. And before they put the lockdown on the people in Italy, I had spoken to my cousin who lives in Parma. And she was telling me that at that time they noticed that there were people coming from the major cities to the country parts of the country, like where she lives in Parma. It's pretty much like out in the country. And once they did do the lockdown, I ended up calling her, and she was just saying that where they lived, that there were more people there that normally didn't live there because they were trying to escape the larger cities. And the same thing came to my cousins in France and my cousins in Belgium as well, where one of my cousins who used to have a home in Paris sold her home in Paris and moved to a different region called Nantes. And she was just saying how a lot of Parisians were leaving the major city and coming out to the provincial areas. And the reason why I'm saying this is that, even though we don't like to talk about it here in the United States, in Europe, it's very much a system of the people. There's also the financial caste system that exists in Europe. So if you're in the underserved areas of countries such as France, the UK, even Italy, Greece, where I have one of my friends that I'd spoken to a couple of days ago, those are the areas that have been the most hit. So, like in the projects of France, where you have a lot of African and Arab and Northern African Arab immigrants, you see that there has been an increase in police violence. There also has been an increase in lack of services, including medical services, where they're turning people away from the hospitals. Um, they're talking also about the number of people that are actually infected by this virus. And it's far more than what they're showing on television. And I think part of the reason could be that in the United States, they don't want people to literally panic like they've been doing in Europe. But it's been going on for a few weeks now, especially in France and Italy. And I know, like one of my friends that lives in Greece, he was just telling me how it's gotten extremely bad in Greece, where the areas where you have predominantly immigrants and poor whites, there are no services available, none whatsoever. So this is an issue that is affecting us on the global level, especially people of color, black people in general, but also poor white people in Europe and in the United States as well.
Well, can I play a little bit of devil's advocate?
Hmm.
There's going to be people who think they got this thing and don't, that do need to be turned away. How
Right.
much of that are we accounting for? Like, because I guess on the underreported thing, I don't want to discredit anything anyone's saying because I can't. I don't know. I ain't there. But it seems the only thing I'm really getting is like personal anecdotes,
Hmm.
secondhand. Do we have anything more solid, any more type of reports, or you know, because someone could tell you like, yeah, they turning people away because they think they're sicker than they are, and these doctors do have to make judgment calls. If
Well,
you're being realistic,
I do have some videos of actual journalists, but I'd have to translate them for you.
okay,
Yeah, I do have
okay.
videos from
I'll put my email in the private chat.
Okay, please do.
Yeah.
And then one other thing that I wanted to mention, because you had mentioned the $2,000 going to Canadians. So just like here, so if you convert that to US dollars, it's possibly, depending on the exchange rate, is close to maybe like $1,500. And you have to be someone who lost their job as a result of being diagnosed with COVID-19. So if you haven't been diagnosed with or told to quarantine as a result of COVID-19 in Canada, you don't have the right to receive that money. And then that I can send you the link for that. That's on the Canadian government website.
Oh wow.
Whereas here, I don't think that they're making a distinction between whether or not you lost your job to COVID-19 or not. That they're just saying that they're going to provide the stimulus. But I since I'm like an extreme researcher, I was looking. I pulled up the actual legislation that was speaking about the COVID-19, and as far as I've gotten so far, I haven't seen anything that specifies who would be eligible for it. It just says some people would be eligible for, but it doesn't specify who would be eligible. So I'm still reading through the legislation to see who actually would be eligible here in the States for the $1,200.
Cool. All right, Donna, we appreciate you coming on. And what we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out. We've been on almost 2 hours now. So
Can I just say something before we close
yeah.
out?
Go ahead. Go ahead and close it out.
Freshie is a clown. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
Peace, Mufasa. We're gonna build.
Yeah. No, like I say, you got my
I got
email.
some
Plus,
stuff to send you.
When you get my email, you get my whole number. I ain't really tripping, but
well, let me get up
I just don't want our people to be. This is the last thing. Don't let fear take a healthy skepticism away from you. A healthy skepticism, not people saying it's a hoax, ain't no virus, and that type of foolishness, but a healthy skepticism. Because before your rights get taken away, you always need to be skeptical. You should be able to dice this thing up with a sharp knife, and it still should come out that, hey, this is real, this is this is that. Then you make your own choice. Just like the people who are refuting it don't know all the answers, the people who are telling you for sure you got to stay at home, don't fly nowhere, don't go nowhere, they don't know the answers either. So we got to have a healthy skepticism with this thing. That's it.
Let me ask you this, Mufasa. Are you willing to volunteer at a COVID ward?
I mean, I don't know how much how helpful am I going to be? That's not what I do. You know, I'm doing what I do. I'm doing what I do.
Actually, we know everything we need to know, and I'm going to send it to you. It's no mystery.
What I'm saying, as far as the help at a ward.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, you say that there's not enough information. There's plenty of information, and I'll send it to you.
But what I'm saying, you don't know your plan of action. You know that's the best plan of action. You're not really sure. That's just a gamble you're taking based on what you have.
I'm not taking a gamble by staying home. I'm not taking a gamble by staying home.
You never know. So maybe if more people got exposed to this, it gives us more study. We get more data. You know, who knows, man? I don't know.
Okay,
I'm just saying, like, go ahead, man.
Fajimoni, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. We better close it out.
Alafia, how you doing?
Good.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to come in with some positivity and talk to everybody because it's a lot of fear and unknown things. But what about the positivity? Like, what happens now, and what happens after survival? Such as Prince Dinas, you have survived, and you're giving great information to the people on what something they can do as a survivor. But what about economically and spiritually? Where do we go from here? And after this is done, because we have to have some hope. Hope can drive us to.
Hello?
You get cut?
I don't know. Hello? Brother, you send me back when you come back on. Hello? Okay.
There's a sister in the group, Judy Jones, who says she actually works at a COVID center in New York.
Oh, wow.
Judy Jones.
I wish she had called earlier.
Judy, can you call in, Judy? Judy, please call in.
I would love to hear what she has to say.
Yeah. Judy, please send me an email, Judy. Judy, call in. Judy, Make sure you try to call in, Judy. That's the email right there. So we'll wait for Judy. Hopefully she'll call in and send me an email.
Email him, Judy. He posted the email. It's not a phone service, so you got to use your mic.
Judy, send me an email, Judy, and I will send you the link. Okay,
scroll
so
up.
send me email.
Scroll up. You'll see
it's on the screen now. So just send me an email, and I'll send you a link. So, Idona, you think they're underreporting the coronavirus situation?
They definitely are. They most definitely are. Because it's just like, especially from what I've seen in the news in Europe, it's far more like I got an update regarding 10,000 people dead so far in let me see, what was it? In one of the European countries as a result. Okay, so Italy, this was the BBC News, coronavirus, Italy deaths climbed above 10,000. And this was as of today. In just Italy alone. You know, even though they've closed the borders in all of these
Let me ask
countries.
you, why is it affecting Italy the way it is? Do you know?
There's a lot of poverty in Italy. A lot. And people don't want to recognize that there's a lot of poverty in many of those European countries. You know, and a lot of times they want to blame it on the immigrants. No. There's a lot of extreme poverty. Like you go to some of those rural areas and there's literally no industry. No hospitals, no industry. And then you have an influx of people from since they have the EU, you have an influx of people from these even poorer European nations that have been accepted into the European Union. And you find the people that are working in these areas tend to be immigrants from other poorer European nations and people that are coming in from Africa. So not only do they not have the proper infrastructure, which includes schools, hospitals, and jobs, but then there's also this competition between the natives and the immigrant population. And the country's infrastructures cannot support it. They can't. And, you know, a lot of times when we look at Europe from the point of view of the average American, they don't look at it for what it really is. When you leave those major cities, unless you have money, a lot of times those people are living in extreme poverty. And their governments do not care if they live or die. They don't. I know it might sound quite harsh, but that's an unfortunate reality. Mm-hmm. An unfortunate reality.
Oh wow, Judy, I sent you the link, so we're waiting on you, and then after that we'll close out.
And Spain has also been hard hit. You know, Italy, Spain. The numbers for Greece haven't even come out, but you know they've probably been hard hit. Like I know that there are, you know, many Italians who at the beginning of the pandemic left Italy to go to Northern Africa, and now that some of their visas have expired, they don't want to leave.
Oh wow.
They want to stay there. Many of them are in Morocco and Tunisia.
Now Tunisia got kind of hit hard, didn't they?
Yeah. And it's the Europeans that are taking it over there. I'm sorry. Because even the first case of coronavirus that was reported in Congo, in Kinshasa, the capital, was someone who came in from France. And they also say that Paul Kagame has coronavirus, but he's been taken to the UK for treatment.
Is there any facts on that?
Well, let me see.
Okay. I think this is Judy right here. Hold on 1 second. All right, Judy, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, hi. How's everyone?
Peace, Judy.
Hey, peace. Yes.
Hello.
Hi. So I work at a major medical center here in New York City, and it's very scary. I mean, I lived through HIV when HIV first started in the hospital systems back in the 1980s. So I'm more scared working on the unit now than I was then. And the reason why is because my unit, well, we're not a COVID unit. What they're trying to do, they're trying to place all the patients who come in identified as COVID on other units. But we're getting like hit with surprises. Like there was a patient who transferred in maybe 2 weeks ago. He tested COVID positive. And the only reason why we know he tested positive is because he was going for surgery. So if you're going for surgery now, they have to test you. So because he was going for surgery, we found out he's positive. So now his roommate, who we wanted to test and move, so we moved that positive patient to a positive unit. So now we wanted the nurses on the unit. Now we want to test his roommate, but we're being told, well, no, we can't. You can't test him because he's not showing symptoms. The roommate now. So the roommate stays. This was like say on a Tuesday. The roommates, no, it was on a Monday. So say by Wednesday, the roommate coded. We had to do what we call a rapid response. He was having trouble breathing. And we coded him that day. He made it, and they felt it was safe to keep him there. So we kept him on the unit still. And then by the afternoon, we were coding him again because he desatted again. His oxygen levels went down. So now they're like, okay, well, let's intubate him, put him on a vent, and move him out. But before they could do that, we went from a RRT, a rapid response, to a full out code. And he coded and he died.
How old was he?
Oh, wow.
He must have been maybe, I think in his 50s, 60-ish.
Okay.
So then I get an admission on whatever day I worked this past week. I got an admission. The man comes up. I didn't even see the mask because he had taken off the mask. But he came up for GI bleed. And then next thing I know, an hour or two, I'm trying to do the submission. The doctor comes to me and tells me, oh, I'm going to swab him for COVID. Oh, you're going to swab him for COVID? Yeah, I think you. So I said, well, he has to go to another unit because that's the policy. And he said, well, whatever the policy is, just do it. But we're going to swab him. And then now the patient pulls out the mask. I'm like, well, when did you have that mask? He's like, well, I had the mask on in the ER. So we're having a lot of things like that happen, like what we call a lot of mishaps. So in my opinion, then I have a coworker. Last Tuesday, we had to do an RRT on her because she passed out twice. She couldn't breathe. They swabbed her, found out she's COVID. I got another worker that I found out on Friday when I went to work from another worker that she's at home, sick with temperature. She's positive COVID. So, you're working in this environment. Everybody's suspect. For me now, everyone's COVID. That's why I said I work on the COVID unit, because everybody's COVID. If you're coming in, you're COVID. If you were there a week before, you're COVID. Everybody, in my opinion, is suspect. I had another patient on Friday. He was
Have you
with
been
us
getting
for a
younger
week.
people in there?
Yeah, we get young for us is like 30. Yeah, we get young clients, 20-something, 30-ish, all the way up to 100. I work on a general med surg unit, adult patients. So anywhere from 20s all the way up to 100. So I had a patient that I was taking care of for a week. He came there, had a hip surgery. We swabbed him on Friday. The doctor decided to swab him Friday. He's COVID positive. So now we had to transfer him. So nurses, we're at risk. We're at risk.
Right.
We're at big time risk.
Is there a shortage of masks for the staff as well in New York?
So my mask, I have it in 95 that my manager gave me the other day. And she said, well, keep this mask for a week. I can change this mask.
Boy, that's like having a gold bar right there.
I can change this mask.
Those are hard to come by.
Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wear this mask and I wear this one on top of it. And she said, wear the face mask to keep this mask clean because I have to wear this mask for a week. Now, mind you, this is a one-time use. Under normal circumstances, we will wear this mask. You walk in the room with, you know, your mask up, go in the room, take it off when you come out, throw it away. Now I'm being told to keep this mask for 1 week and just change this daily, this little face mask daily.
Wow.
So, you know, it's an environment. I heard what Dinus mentioned about a doctor. This is an environment you don't want to be in. So if your oxygenation was like 91, 92, for most, even people with asthma, that's good. And oxygenation, 89, 90, 91% is good. Because most asthmatics, that's where they breathe at. So I think that's what she was trying to say to you, but she didn't say, you know. And this is an environment where if you're in there and you could get out right away. Don't stay. We used to say that before COVID, and I say it even now, even more so. If you were off antibiotics, your oxygenation's coming up, is hanging out in that range, and you're off antibiotics, you could do the rest of your recouping at home. Seriously.
I have a question for you.
I wanted to quit last week. And I've been a nurse for over 20 years. I've been working in healthcare for over 30. And I wanted to quit because I could see where this is going, and it's not looking good.
Well, okay, hold on. Expand on like how do you see where this is going?
I mean, everybody's infected. Everybody's infected in some way or another. And like they said, some of us is going to clear it naturally, whatever, and some of us are not. But with the numbers, the way the numbers are doubling and tripling here in New York, if you go to the Johns Hopkins Corona Resource website and see how the numbers are moving, you know, we surpassed the Chinese numbers already. Cases that are confirmed. They stopped at 81,000. And I thought it would take today for us to get past their number of 100,000. And we reached 100,000 on Friday. Okay.
Wow.
So we're doubling and tripling like every day. And the only reason why they know that about New York, and I live in New York City, is because Como is doing testing. He ramped up the testing. So New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, the tri-state area, has ramped up the testing. So you don't know what you have if you don't test. If you remember in the early days of HIV, what was they telling us to do? They were encouraging everybody know your status, get tested. Because if you know your status, then you know whether you could pass it on or not. Not knowing your status, to me, is crazy. But the way they have it now, they will only test you in my hospital if you have a fever. Okay,
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How come the N95 masks were, like you said, you would wear them and toss them? Why did they become such a shortage of them?
Because our leadership, and I think this is coming from hospital leadership. I don't think it's coming from the government, what have you. But I know in my hospital where I work, the leadership there is afraid of running out. They're afraid of running out. You know, and they go, my managers is in meetings like 6-7 hours a day. She's in a meeting. We don't even see her now. She's in a meeting. And now I notice she's not wearing her, she's wearing scrubs. She'll come in her street clothes and she'll change her scrubs. So what I'm hearing now is, you know, the Chinese did this a lot. You didn't wear your street clothes to work. And you didn't wear your scrubs home. And they sprayed themselves down a lot. This is what I'm kind of upset about, is because the Chinese playbook on this virus, we're not emulating.
Right.
And I don't get it. How can you not emulate or use a playbook from a group of people who already dealt with it and beat it back? Right. I know some people out here saying, oh, their numbers are fake and all that. But you know what? The Chinese, Asian people are very determined, committed, serious group of people. And I don't think none of us, we can't deny that about them. And when they find out something, they will move high in hell water to do something about it. And if you look at all their news reports, they're spraying down the street, they're spraying buildings, they're disinfecting, cleaning, everything. Why? Because they understand how a virus could linger in their environment.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to do whatever they can do to try to decrease the numbers, decrease the spray. And we're not doing that.
Could that
you look at the healthcare workers, they were suited in hazmat suits, and they work in hazmat suits all day, regardless of what unit.
I
Regardless
saw
of
some
whether
working
it's
with
a
garbage
unit.
bags on.
Yeah. And
I
not
have a
even for a
I have a
gown
question
that
for
doesn't
you.
even cover your uniform pants leg. So you're wearing a gown. And from what I read, even when they went to the bathroom, they would take that hazmat suit off that they were wearing, throw it away, and put on a new one. And they would not even eat or drink that much to avoid going to the bathroom and having to change, uniforms, what have you. Go ahead, sis. You wanted to say something.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
wanted to say something. So, because there's this, so I spent about 2 months in China in 2017, and like you said, they're very, very, very serious. When they set their mind to doing something, they do it.
Yeah.
So I've been following the Chinese news since then, and what they've said recently is that which unfortunately I don't think it will work here, that they're doing over there, is that people that have traveled are being forced into quarantine and are required to wear a bracelet indicating that they had traveled and that they're supposed to be in quarantine. And
Mm-hmm.
if they're caught outside, then the police are able to find them and to arrest them and to be in jail for a certain amount of time. And then they've also created these helmets that the police are able to wear that allows them to be able to know someone's temperature within, I think, a meter of being close to that person. So I think one of the biggest problems that we might have here is that the average person in this country does not want to be controlled. Like, we have people that are going against what even the government is telling them about staying in the house and not congregating, and people continue to do it.
Yeah.
We don't
So
in a country such as China, they don't have the same freedoms as we have here, where they can go against what the police and what the government says, because they don't have those rights. So
yeah,
even though
but
I wish
I think here, if you tell people
Mhm.
that we're gonna lock you up if you come outside,
Mhm.
I think people, and I know especially in the Black community, I think we would adhere to that because we know that's true. They'll
Right.
lock us up for any little reason. So
Right.
we know that's true.
Exactly.
Because
We would
like the
believe
town
that.
that I'm
We're gonna
in.
lock you up. But even without the lockup, there's other
Mhm.
things they're not doing. Clean the environment. We got a whole sanitation system here in New York State. What are the sanitation workers doing right now? They got trucks. Use the trucks to spray the streets. Have businesses clean the outside sidewalk, clean down, your gates, whatever. There's a lot of stuff we could be doing. Supply us healthcare workers with hazmat suits. I want to be covered from head to toe, not just a gown where my pants legs are still out. Test people. Why aren't they testing? So there
Well,
is
I can.
stuff we can do that's just not being done. And I think because white people, I'm going to say this, and but I'm
You're
going to say
amongst
it.
friends.
I think they have a problem with listening to other people, especially other people who don't look like them,
Right.
for advice or for, I mean, the Chinese already did it. What's your issue? And I think that's something that's been, we call this, and even in healthcare is called implicit bias, where
Mhm.
you have this bias about something, people that you're not even aware that you have. Your implicit prejudices. And
Yeah,
I think
and
that's why they're not listening to the Chinese. And that's why you can have that orange man sit on television and be like, and put his buffoonery show.
like
Because
even
he's
with
the
me,
number one Chinese hater. He
like I
hates the
was
Chinese.
born in Harlem Hospital, and and I lived in New York for nearly half of my adult life. And I can say for a fact that when it was time for me to have my children, even though I lived in Harlem when they were both born, I was just like, I don't want my kids to be born in Harlem Hospital. I had my kids at NYU because of that massive difference in the quality of healthcare that was provided in the Black community as opposed to what was being provided at NYU Midtown. And
yeah, but you know what? You could be in NYU, you could be at New York Presbyterian, and I've worked in those places, and it doesn't matter. Your Black skin still follow you. You could be in those places, and you still got to speak up for yourself. Okay, you may automatically get good food because everybody else is getting good food because the food is good there, or you automatically get good transport because everybody's getting good transport. But there's still some subtle things that go on.
Hey, I'm gonna grab some water real quick. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, that you're not going to get unless, if you don't speak up for yourself. Bottom line, and I've worked in all those fancy dancy places, and I could tell even still, as a Black person and a Black patient in that facility, you don't get the same kind of respect and care and everything as your white counterparts that come in there, and neither does your family. Okay.
I hear you,
Judy. There's a lot of people in the chat room that feel that people should, play the Russian roulette thing and just go out and get the economy working again. What do you feel about that?
I think we should do like the Chinese did. Bite the bullet, lock down everything, test everybody, do massive testing, see where everybody falls, see what state falls where, and take it from there. I don't think it's too late.
No.
I think we can still do it.
Yep.
I don't think it's too late.
The problem is nobody's running this show. This car is careening off the cliff with nobody behind the wheel.
Yeah, you got individual governors who are trying the best they can. Like, I respect Como because at least he's reading the information and trying to talk to the experts and trying to do, whatever he can do. He's preparing for the worst. So that's why the need for the ventilators, the need to set up, different hospitals. And I can tell it's going to happen because of what's happening to me on the unit. That's why I believe it.
Do you think they're telling the truth about them not having enough tests to test people, or they're just not using them because they don't want to, they're in fear of running out?
I don't know why they don't want to use it. I mean, you don't hear that the Chinese wasn't doing all this yapping about this. They used the freaking test.
I think it is that, like, I had put this on my Facebook page, that it's kind of weird. Like, the United States government is actually in a position where it has to think about or take care of its citizens, and it's not used to doing that. So it's almost like when you see the government is almost like that dog that chases a car, and when it catches the car, it doesn't know what to do with it. That's how the United States government is. The fact, like, this whole concept of taking care of your citizens, they don't care about that. So that's the reason why you can have your president say, hey, we need to get out there for Easter and we need to get the economy working again. Just pretend the virus doesn't exist. Or you have people who think, well, I'm young, so if I catch it, I'll recover. Like, Dinah, do you want anybody to go through what you went through?
Hell no. Hell no.
Like, it's funny how people can be so cavalier with that.
But the president of France is saying the exact same thing. He's telling people, it's not that bad. You can go back to work.
And from what I understand, what happened in Italy is they were out and about during the time when the virus was affecting people. That's what I've read. That they were really out there during that time where they should have been in lockdown. And so from what I'm reading, from March 27th to April 7th, is supposed to be our crucial time. And then you're going to start reaching the peak, and then it'll start going down. The infection rate will start going down. So like Como is preparing for the peak as far as that's when the bodies, you're going to start seeing more and more people get sick in the bodies. As numbers are going to start ramping up.
Wow. And then you got these people who's concerned about the economy. Like you're broke behind is concerned about the U.S. economy. Really? Do you know? I had an article I can send y'all. The Federal Reserve, and it was a provision in the 2008 bailout that now they don't have to go through the Congress and Senate. The Fed sends money directly to the banking system, and they're giving it to the tune of $1 trillion a day. So don't worry about the economy. Worry about your own black behind.
And another thing that bothers me is a lot of people, we're not hearing talk about the after effect. Like, what does this, if you go through the disease, what does it leave you with? What condition does it leave your lungs in after?
Yeah, right.
And if you go and research what the Chinese are starting to do, they're taking CAT scans of people's chest who came down with the whole sickness, and they're finding that their lungs are what they call lung fibrosis. And then some people are higher risk for pulmonary fibrosis.
Right.
So we're not even hearing about what can this virus leave you with. Like, you get the flu, you just get the flu. Your lungs are okay, whatever after. But from what I'm gathering, from what the Chinese are starting to investigate, that might not be the case with this virus.
Right, because it attacks the respiratory system, right?
Right. So we're not even having that conversation.
So I just find it. I just find it funny that people are so cavalier about having people go out. Oh, well, if you're catching and you're young, it's no problem. You recover, and we just what?
Yeah, well, if you recover with and you end up with lung fibrosis, that's not good. If you end up with pulmonary fibrosis because of this, that's not a good thing to have. Okay. And I worked on a ventilator unit, and I know when I read reports that people have a hard time coming off the vent because there's something called ARDS, like it's a disorder called ARDS. I can't remember what the whole acronym stands for, but it's very hard. It's like your lungs become like very fibrotic and lose the elasticity that the little ovules have when you breathe in air and oxygen and you breathe out. It loses that elasticity. And so we're not even talking about that. They're not even discussing that.
Thank you for coming on, Judy, man. Thank you.
That's the other thing that got me scared. That I don't want no part of this. Okay?
Thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate you being on this line right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out. Yeah, thank you, Judy, for coming on, guys. We'll go ahead and close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Search for Huru. Peace.
Peace, everybody.
Peace, family.